Good evening, Niner fans. How we doing? How's your Friday? We had a little breaking news today, much to the chagrin of a lot of people. How are we feeling? How are we doing? The Niners free agency just around the corner. And today, as you know, if you've been living under a rock, maybe you didn't hear the news, but the 49ers extended right tackle Colton McKivitz. Now he's on the team, signed through 2025. And you know what? A lot of people were not happy about this. Obviously, Colton McKivitz wasn't a premier or elite offensive lineman. He wasn't bad, his first year as a starter, but a lot of people want the 49ers to upgrade that right tackle spot, that right side of the line, and we're just not happy. Now, again, it doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to be the starter. At the end of the day, he got swing tackle money. He can be a solid swing tackle if he's not starting, and then they have him as a secondary tackle in case of depth or emergency. Then I think it's a fantastic move. But we shall see how this plays out. But again, the 49ers did get started on free agency today, and what they did was they extended Colton McKivitz 1 year, $7 million deal. I believe puts him through the 2025 year. And the other part of that is, I think it was 65% of that is fully guaranteed. So it's not like breaking the bank type money, but nonetheless, not a lot of people want to hear Colton McKivitz's name being extended. So I get it. How's everybody doing? Ronnie, hey, Peter Parker, how the heck is everybody doing? Greedy Greg, the whole squad, Flood, Christine Workman, Debbie, how's everybody feeling? Oh, man. My man Greedy Greg says just another body for the line, so just adding talent is the next in the draft. At the end of the day, Niners need depth, and, Colton McKivitz, he knows the system. He's been on the team for a couple of years. So it's not like the most despicable thing in the world. People just don't like Colton McKivitz. It was like war zone on the timeline. I looked up at the timeline today. I was like, oh man, they are not liking this. Like the comments were getting out of control. People are like, I can't believe it. And again, do I think that Colton McKivitz is a great right tackle? Absolutely not. He's not a long-term investment, but the 49ers need depth. They need bodies. The trenches are tough. Colton's a guy that, could come in and start if they need to. If they can't fight an upgrade, they can use them to start. So they can also use them as solid depth, again, as a swing tackle. So it's not the end of the world. I do feel like they definitely need to upgrade that whole right side. So Ronnie, how you doing? Chill out on the comments. Nobody can see anybody else's comments. We love you. I hope I'm good. I hope you're well too, but chill out on spamming the comments, my guy. Greedy Greg, he says, I like how we are in position just to draft talent available this year because Brockster is holding it down. That's a good comment, too. The fact of the matter is the Niners have so many draft picks. As you know, the 49ers were awarded many compensatory picks. 5 compensatory picks today, and we'll talk about that. And overall, they have 11 draft picks. Puts them in great position. And now the fact of the matter is the 49ers could draft best available player at pretty much any spot. They need depth. They need a quality offensive lineman. They need some upgrades there. But at 31, and the way they maneuver through this draft is going to be interesting because it's not like they have a top 10, top 15 first-round pick. So now you go best available, right? They're defending NFC champions, and they're right there. They're right there on the cusp of being able to get right back. They have a solid team, all-star studded team. They could get right back to the Super Bowl, but now you just add talent because now it's about making sure you have depth for the future of this team because George Kittle's not going to be there forever. Trent Williams isn't going to be there forever. A lot of these guys are coming down to the home stretch of their career, so you're going to have to keep insulating talent. They need defensive linemen because they don't have a lot of depth right now. And I'm sure they're going to bring some veterans back. That's what everybody's anticipating. Free agency, they hopefully will get a big splash here or there, and nobody's expecting like they usually do. But you also got to bring your veterans back. You got to bring your depth back. And then the draft picks, you have 11 draft picks to go out there and make this team, talented for years to come. And that's what the 49ers do. They're a team that builds through the draft. A lot of teams, they go and spend money and they waste their money on players that they're not going to have. Look at the Bills. They spent a lot of money on, defensive players through the years, Von Miller and a lot of other guys, and they made a lot of cuts this week. A lot of teams do that. They cut players, they bring guys in, big contracts, and then contracts are expiring. They get rid of them. The 49ers draft well, they reward their talent, and then they continue to, extend those contracts, restructure those deals. So in the end of the day, yeah, Colton McKivitz isn't like going to sit there and move the needle much, but it gives them flexibility in what they could do in the draft. I think that's why I wasn't like, oh God, I hated it. I wasn't like, oh wow, we got Colton McKivitz back. I wasn't sitting there like doing cartwheels, but at the same time, I was like, okay, he's depth. They need depth at offensive line position. And again, now they can go into the draft and really take the best player available. So we'll see what happens. My man Ronnie says Brock really good this year. Speaking of Brock Purdy, shout out to Brock Purdy. He got another endorsement deal yesterday. This guy's racking up the endorsements. He's a good kid. He's a good young man, and the people gravitate toward him. He has a new sports drink he's sponsoring. You love to see it. I thought that's pretty dope, right? He got a sponsorship deal. Yesterday was announced that he is partnered with the organic sports drink Recover 180. I love that. I love that for Brock. He's a good young quarterback. He's going to get more money in his pockets. And today, there was a post on Juwan Jennings, his Instagram story. He got a watch from Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy doesn't make a lot of money compared to the rest of the team. Makes a lot of money, overall. He got Juwan Jennings a watch. And it's Brock Purdy's wedding this weekend, I believe. So shout out to Brock. Congrats on the young man. Getting endorsements, getting married. You got to love this guy. But again, big news today. Colton McKivitz agrees to terms on a 1-year, $7 million extension. It was the first domino of free agency. Not too many people were happy. But at the end of the day, hey, they got depth. And again, I think Colton McKivitz could be your swing tackle. He might not necessarily be your starting tackle on the right side. But if he is, at least he knows the system and the scheme. And maybe he could get better. This was his first year as a starter. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, yeah, Colton McKivitz is great. I'm not going to go rah, rah, rah and say, you guys need to tell me that Colton is beautiful and he's amazing, and let's all get behind Colton. I'm not going to be the guy that tells you that. There's going to be other content creators who say, well, Colton, let's stick behind Colton. I'm not that guy. I'm happy that he's on the team because he knows the system. He could be a solid swing tackle. You need depth in this league. Let's say somebody gets hurt. Colton could come in right away, and you're not going to miss too much of a beat in terms of a guy that knows the system. But if he's your starting right tackle, yeah, you could do better. You could do better. But will the 49ers be able to upgrade that? That is the question. If they don't do better, if they don't make offensive line a priority, then we can be pissed off. Right now, it's too early to sit here and throw shit at the fan right now. So we'll see. The other big news of the day, as we talked about earlier, the 49ers were awarded 5 compensatory picks in the 2024 draft. A 3rd round, a 4th round, a 5th round, and 2 6. Now, the most important thing about this is the Chase Young, they got their pick 99 in the draft. If Chase Young doesn't come back, or if Chase Young comes back and they stays on the team, then that 3rd round pick goes to the Washington Commanders to complete the trade. So, we give away the 3rd round pick to keep Chase Young. It is what it is. That's what the Niners traded for Chase Young. Now, the most important thing here, I was a little salty today. Jimmy Garoppolo, because the fact of the matter is the way he played and everything, and the way that whole situation played out, the 49ers were expected to get a 3rd round compensatory pick for Jimmy Garoppolo. They got a 4th round pick. Whatever, 3rd, 4th round pick, it's not that big of a deal. But can you imagine 49ers could have got a 3rd round? We'll see what they could have got. We're going to see this down in a couple of years, see how this plays out, because we'll know what pick they could have gotten. We'll know what pick they got. We'll see what they draft compared to who they didn't get in a few years. We're going to go back to this in a few years and be like, hey, man, Niners could have had so-and-so. Instead, they got this guy because of Jimmy G. So in a couple of years, we'll come back to this, and we'll see how this turned out. But, yeah, Jimmy Garoppolo, always – I'm not even going to say anything bad because you guys, the jokes write themselves. Anyways, after that, the 49ers ended up with 11 draft picks. That's quite a haul for the 49ers this year. 11 draft picks. And this is the question here. This is a perfect question from Debbie. She says, any chance we trade up? With 11 draft picks, you're absolutely damn skippy. I feel like the 49ers could trade up. You got 11 picks. The 49ers like to wheel and deal in the draft. Now, you got to remember, they have so much draft capital, a lot of these compensatory picks to move up. They might move up. They might move back. You don't know how they're going to, engage this draft. But John Lynch loves to move around. I feel like every year I'm posting, oh my God, breaking news, 49ers traded in the draft, back for it, who knows, depending on who's available. But let's go through it. Round one, 31st pick. The 49ers have that pick. They have round two, number 63. Round three, number 94. They have round four, number 123. Round four, number 130. They have round four, number 132. This is a comp pick. Round five, number 175. This is a comp pick. Round six, number 211 comp pick. Round six, number 215 comp pick. Round seven, number 239, which they got in the Gregory trade. And then round seven, number 251. Those are all their draft. They got quite a bit of draft picks. That's a lot. 11 draft picks, you know. I feel like the 49ers, they made out like bandits, and I think that they have so much picks to sit here and really draft all the positions they need. Cornerbacks, defensive linemen, offensive linemen. They can get a little bit of everything. Now, again, the 49ers do a really good job of drafting late round picks, so we'll see where this takes them. But they do got a first round pick this year. Maybe you can trade up. I don't know. And they got a boatload of picks, and I'm happy to see what they're going to be able to do. And the other thing is here, this is going to be the first draft without Adam Peters. So we really need to see how the 49ers attack this draft. I feel like Adam Peters was a big part of their drafting over the last couple of years, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. They got a lot of other guys in the front office that were also there, so it's not like it's just Adam Peters, drafting. But that is a factor that you have to take to consideration here. But overall, 11 draft picks. I think that's great. And again, 49ers, they take back Colton McKivitz on a 1-year extension. He'll be on the team through 2025. And overall, I don't think they did anything bad. I don't think the name Colton McKivitz makes people too excited. Colton Malkovich, as we called him early in the season. But overall, I think the Niners are in great position. They got pretty much most of their key players back. You're going to get some of your depth players back, which I feel like in the next couple of days, by Monday, we should have a few guys that they really like, veterans that are cheap and that they can come back and stay on the roster. So I'm at 49ers Mind. What's up, Bash? I should have just gave you the invite and have you come in here. He says, Larry Krueger thinks McKivitz is much better at center, but I guess this team will never go that route. If he's right, say make the move rather than waste time with him at tackle. It's true, that – well, it's not true that he better. I don't know if he's better at center, but it's true that Colton McKivitz is very versatile. And I think that's a key thing for Kyle Shanahan on this offensive line. He likes guys that could play anywhere on this line. Like the guys that could offer him, double positions, right? That's why he had Dan Brunskill. That's why he has a guy like Feliciano, because sometimes a guy gets hurt. You can move him at guard. You can move him at tackle. You can move him at center, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, no, I think that's probably true. I'm sure that Colton McKivitz could play center. I know he played center back in college a little bit. He played outside. He played interior lineman. So he's a guy that could play anywhere. And I think that's why the 49ers were able to agree to extend him, because it's not like, okay, he's going to be the starting right tackle. He could maybe be the swing tackle, but he's a very versatile guy, and Kyle Shanahan likes that in his system. And I think he respects that. Colton McKivitz, who was a 5th-round pick, is now on this team for several years. And he's earned a spot on the roster. Now, again, I hope he's not your starter, because I think they could do better at right tackle. But he is versatile, and he offers them ability to kind of be flexible on the O-line. So, all good. Great one, says Chop Robinson. Kiram, he listed his players that he wants. I think those are all the players he wants. Chop Robinson, Brendan Rice, Cedric Gray, Travis, Jordan Jefferson. I mean, those are great players. I'm sure the 49ers are going to be able to get some of those guys, maybe all of them. I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be a hell of a draft. That's all I know. But before the draft, you got to know who the heck you have on the roster and fill out those free agents. And again, that's this week. Monday is the legal tampering period. Starts on Monday. And then Wednesday officially is free agency period. And I think we're going to see a lot of deals done. It's going to be fun. It's going to be wheeling and dealing. Your social media is going to be flying off the charts. Make sure you're following all the sports pages, because it's going to be fun. Not just for the 49ers, but following along with every single team, who's doing what, who's going where, who's signing with what. Oh, my God, I can't wait for it. I love free agency. That's one of my favorite times of the year, because it's like every second, news, boom, news, boom, news, boom. Who's getting restructured? Who's getting traded? Who's getting extended? Oh, my God, it's going to be fun. Restructured from Flood. He says, who's getting restructured? You know, last year they restructured Fred Warner. Maybe they restructure him again. Maybe they restructure. I think they might extend Mooney Ward. I think they go and like do a little bit of an extension on Mooney Ward to keep him and free up some cap space. It's going to be tough. I think George Kittle maybe gets a little restructure or an extension here, something like that. They're going to take some of those veterans. I really feel like some of these veteran contracts, they're going to try to extend out or, stretch their money a little bit. I think Arik Armstead's a guy that we have to keep an eye on. I don't necessarily think that they're going to get rid of him, but I wouldn't be surprised if they try to trade him or something. But doesn't have a lot of trade value at this point. He's got injuries. He's a 10-year vet, good player, but I don't know if he gives you a big value. But you got to find a way to figure out how to restructure that contract. It's a lot of money on the book. So it's going to be interesting. Veterans are going to get moved, maybe. Veterans are going to be, getting their contracts tinkered with, and they got to free up some cap space. So that's going to be interesting. And again, there's some players that are free agents that I think they'll bring back. Clelin Ferrell is one guy. Hopefully he recovers from that meniscus surgery. Juwan Jennings, I'm sure they'll be able to extend him. Randy Gregory, maybe Chase Young. I don't know. There's a lot of guys that they have that are free agents. Who's going to be their backup quarterback? You can't go without a backup. Is Brandon Allen going to run it back? Is Sam Darnold going to come back? So these are the big questions. My man Scott says restructure the long snapper. Yeah, maybe you got to restructure Tabor. My man Niner Guy for Life says, I think the big shock will be Armstead gets cut. Wow, so that's a bold prediction, my guy. Bold prediction. Flood says, Larry was saying maybe the Niners should consider Mac Jones at QB2. That'd be stupid. Listen, there's a lot of rumors out there right now. I know people are saying Zach Wilson on the trade market. Mac Jones is on the trade market. Those guys are terrible. They need to go to a team that could at least utilize them, maybe a new fresh scenery. They're still young. Maybe they get a chance to start again somewhere. The 49ers have Brock Purdy. He's a beautiful QB2. He's the guy. He's the man. He's the franchise. You get a veteran behind Brock that can pick up the system real quick in case Brock gets hurt. We hope he doesn't, knock on wood. You need a veteran that could come in and just pick up a few games if needed, right? That's what you really need in the 49ers situation. You don't need a Mac Jones. You don't need a Zach Wilson, guys that are still figuring out if they're even going to be able to make it in the league. If Brock goes down, heaven forbid if he does, you don't want Mac Jones or Zach Wilson coming in trying to reestablish their career and figure out if they're a good quarterback in the league. This is stupid. They had their chance to be on the Niners. Forget it. Get a veteran. Bring back Sam. I'm okay with bringing Sammy D back, baby. A vet backup makes so much sense. Sammy D, I'm not mad at it. If he knows the system, he's been here last year. If anything happens to your starting quarterback, you want to have a veteran come in to be able to play a few games and get you through, coast you through that time period your quarterback's out. And hopefully your starting quarterback gets out. Unless it's a season ending, then you're screwed. Either way. I think everybody wants Mac Jones, Zach. They're going to throw these stupid cockamamie names. I like Gardner Minshew. I think Gardner Minshew is a very good backup quarterback in this league. I've been saying this for many years. Honestly, I would love to see Gardner Minshew. This is a hell of a backup quarterback. He knows his role. If anything ever happens to Brock Purdy, you can come in, you get Gardner Minshew. He's going to dime it up, and he'll win you a few games. Your backup quarterback's not supposed to be a guy that's like, well, maybe he could start. Maybe you give him a chance. No, your quarterback one is your quarterback one is your quarterback one. He's your franchise. Your backup, they shouldn't even see the field unless there's an injury or you're blowing out a team 50-0. That's it. Bottom line. I don't want my backup quarterback in the game. I don't want Sam Darnold in the game. I don't want Mac Jones in the game. I don't want Mitch Wishnowsky in the game, throwing touchdowns or whatever. Hell, if we get to Mitch I meant to say Gardner Minshew, but I said Mitch Wishnowsky. If Mitch Wishnowsky's throwing out there, something's down wrong. But what my whole point is, you don't want to see your backup quarterback in the game unless you're blowing out a team. So that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want Zach Wilson. I don't want Mac Jones. I don't want any of these guys. Go get me Sam Darnold back. Bring him back. I love Sam Darnold as the backup. Great stuff. Been a fan. Let's see what the comments. Michael Penix Jr. I mean, he's cool. I like Michael. Me and Larry were talking about it the other day. He likes Michael Penix. He thinks the Niners are going to draft him. He's cool, but I hope he goes to a team where he can actually start. I don't think the Niners need him. Great player, though. Great player. I think he'll be good. He's 24-year-old. He's a 24-year-old rookie. Of course, he's going to be better than these younger guys. Now, I know he had injuries and whatever the case is, but he is older than most of those players in college. So he's got a bigger, he's a little older. He's a little wiser. Body's a little bit more, advanced than some of those guys. So when those older quarterbacks are dominating college, I always like tread lightly. I'm like, you got to see what they can do in the pros, but he will be a little bit more mature than most rookies coming in to the NFL. Let me see. Julius says, thoughts on Larry Krueger's latest mock, selecting Michael Penix with the 31st. So we did talk about this the other day. I saw his mock. We did talk about this the other day. We'll bring it up again because we did have, this was actually one of our talking points the other day. He goes, the 31st pick, Niners, if Penix is there, you can't pass him up. And I was just like, that's crazy. That is wild. Like, I love Penix. But Niners don't need to spend a 31st pick on a backup quarterback. Now, I get where he's going, best available player. And if he's a best available player, maybe down the line you can trade him to a team that's desperate for a quarterback. But in my eyes, if you draft Penix, nobody's going to know if he's great, until he plays or whatnot. And if he's your backup, he's not going to be playing much. But again, I see where his take is. You keep him. He's a guy that people may want and they can trade up or use him as trade bait. That's what his whole argument was. But I don't think you'd waste the pick. This is their first round pick in 3 years? And you're just going to waste it on a quarterback that you're going to trade later down the line. That's why I don't think it's a viable option. I get where he's coming from. I love Larry. It's my guy. We go live a lot. But yeah, that's a no for me, dog. That's a no for me. Michael Penix at 31. Come on. Brandis says Carson Wentz. Listen, if Carson Wentz is anywhere near this roster, I'm going to go down there myself and do some crimes. And it's probably going to get me in jail or whatever. But hey, at the end of the day, I will take one for the team. I don't want Carson Wentz on the 49ers. This man is the only guy I've ever seen to sprain both of his ankles, literally in the same week. Like, you can't have a man with 2 sprained ankles. I'm done. We don't need Carson Wentz. We don't need Russell Wilson. He's probably going to go to the Steelers or the Giants. Just need a solid backup quarterback at the veteran. Gardner Minshew is probably the best backup quarterback this 49ers team could get. Brandon Allen, I'm cool with him too. But I don't know. Everybody wants these big-time name backup quarterbacks. Your backups. You pray that they're not playing. That's it. Niner guy says, I love Larry, but that's a ridiculous take. You should have saw my face. When we talked about it the other night. But anyways, that's the tea. That's the news. That he's throwing out there. It's the off season. People got some, they got to do their views. They got to get their views. They got things to talk about. So I understand it. It is what it is. Haven't been live as much as I wanted to because I've been working. But hey, at the end of the day, I see the people. I see the content they're putting in. This is what they got to do. They got to talk about something. So they post out those mock drafts, and it's fun. It's topics to talk about. It makes people's minds go all over the place. So I love it. So Niners should get a veteran tackle from Dallas. The veteran tackle. I mean, Niners definitely need to get some good depth, some veterans here and there, tackle position. I think they got to go young at the tackle spot. I want the 49ers to go young in the offensive line department. That's why I was okay with them not going after Laken Tomlinson. Now I know they still can next week, but I wasn't mad about Colton McKivitz. He's still fairly young. He's been on the team for a couple of years, but he's not like an old over the hill guy. He's still figuring things out. It was his first year as a starter last year. So I feel like the 49ers, they got to go really heavily invest in some good young offensive linemen in the draft. Give me some veterans on the D-line. That's where I want them to go invest on D-line. Maybe some defensive backs or corners. There's a lot of good corners on the market and a lot of good safeties on the market. So maybe go pick up a good veteran there. I don't know. I think the Niners really have they really don't need much, but you need some depth. You need some stars on that offensive line. That's where I hope they kind of upgrade. I'll go get me another good cornerback to pair with De'Amon Lenoir and Mooney Ward, and I think this team will be able to go right back to the promised land. Juwan Jennings is a guy. I hope they really make sure they extend him, give him a couple years, and then figure out Brandon Ayuk's after free agency period. I think Brandon Ayuk's contract's going to get taken care of fairly quickly compared to years past. I don't know. I have a good vibe. I have a good feeling about Brandon Ayuk getting paid, rather earlier than most of these other guys. So we'll see. Let's see. Couple of questions. Let's see what's up. Penix, waste pick. I feel the same shades. My man Julius say, would Tampa be willing to trade Tristan Wirfs? I doubt it, but I would love to see Tristan. I don't think Tampa's going to trade Tristan Wirfs. And then who else said? Who else? There was another question in here. Oh, would the Chargers be willing to trade Rashawn Slater? I doubt both of those guys would be willing to. Those are cornerstone linemen, cornerstone tackles for both of those teams. There's no way they're trading them. I don't think so. You never know. Again, you never know. But I'd be very, very shocked if we get Tristan Wirfs or Rashawn Slater. They're two cornerstone tackles for their teams. Rashawn Slater, he's going to be very important for the Chargers. Chargers got a new coach, right? Jim Harbaugh. He's all about the run game. You need to make sure you have dogs in the trenches. Rashawn Slater's a dog in the trench. There's no way I think Harbaugh trades away Rashawn Slater. He needs this guy to operate his offensive system. So there's just no way in hell I think 49ers are going to get a Rashawn Slater. We could dream. I would love to see a guy like Rashawn Slater, talented as he is. Tristan Wirfs, love to see him on the Niners. Niners could have drafted both of those guys, by the way, but, it is. So, again, I just need to see this team make a big move on that right side. Maybe a guard. Maybe they'll get a guard. I don't know. I think they're going to bring back Feliciano, though. And honestly, I kind of feel like we're going to be sitting here next week talking about here's the 49ers offensive line going into the draft. Trent Williams, Aaron Banks, Jake Brendel, John Feliciano / Spencer Burford, and Colton McKivitz. I think that's going to be our line, which means we didn't get anybody new. That's kind of how I feel it's going to go next week. I don't think people are going to be happy with that prediction. I just feel that's what's going to happen. I don't know. I think the Niners are going to wait till the draft to go in and get some offensive linemen. And then again, rookie offensive linemen, are you going to trust in a rookie offensive lineman? I don't think Kyle does. And I don't know if they're going to take a lineman at 31. I just think they're going to try to go best available player. I kind of feel like the 49ers are very content with who they have on the line. I know fans aren't, so I hope that they go and make a big move, splash move next week. But I just don't see it happening. I don't know why. I have this strange feeling they're not going to make a big splash on the line. I think they're going to make a big move at cornerback next week. That's been my prediction over the last couple of days. Maybe defensive line too. Kyle, I think he always opts to John in these situations, and John Lynch usually pulls out some big defensive player in free agency, and I think he's going to do it again this year. And I think he's going to go cornerback, defensive tackle. That's the vibe I'm getting. I don't know. We'll see. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they go and make a big splash on the offensive line. We'll see. Scott says McGlinchey played as rookie. Yeah, that was one of the rare exceptions. Kyle loved McGlinchey. They liked him so much. The next day they went and traded Trent Brown. I remember the Niners had Trent Brown. They threw him aside, traded him away. And I just don't think that Kyle and him jive well. And I don't think Kyle thought he was good for his system. They went and got McGlinchey, and the rest is history. But yeah, McGlinchey did play as a rookie, so it's not to say that they won't play a rookie at tackle. I just don't know if Kyle is about that life. I don't know if there's a good enough tackle that they see screaming at them at 31. Then yeah, but I don't think there's a great enough tackle at 31 that it's going to start for the 49ers over who they have. I don't know. I just have this weird feeling, but it could be wrong unless they trade up. We talked about that earlier. Will the 49ers trade up? It is very possible. They got a lot of draft picks, as we found out today. Brian Burns from the Panthers still an option, says Flood. I don't think he's ever been an option, but that's just me. I mean, the pipe dream of Brian Burns to the Niners would be phenomenal. I mean, can you imagine Burns, Bosa? I just don't ever see it happening with the Niners. It would be amazing, but I just don't see that happening. Can you imagine? That would be dope. I know it'd be amazing. I mean, he's a phenomenal player, but I just don't see that one coming to fruition. But we could be. Hey, you never know. Anything could happen next week. Can you imagine? We'd be going crazy if that happened as fan base. So young CJ says, will the 49ers draft Xavier Worthy, the speedster? He ran a 4.21. I mean, it'd be cool, right? He's definitely a speedster. The 49ers are lacking that outside speed threat. They tried the Danny Gray experiment, didn't really go too well. I mean, I think every fan would be hyped up to see Xavier Worthy drafted, but I don't know if the 49ers really have a big desire to take a wide receiver. And you got to remember, for 49ers to take a wide receiver, you got to be versatile. You got to be able to block. You have to be able to get the yak, but they don't usually have those take the top off the top of the defense. So we'll see. It'll be interesting to see if they really prioritize a receiver. But they got Juwan Jennings that they got to bring back. Brandon Ayuk they'll extend. They got Debo still on the books, so they still have really three really great receivers there. They like Ronnie Bell. He's a guy that could get some more action this year. So I don't think they're going to take a Xavier Worthy, but I would love to see a 4.21 speed on this team. But hey, anything's possible. Yeah, 49ers definitely could use a deep threat. I mean, again, the Danny Gray experiment hasn't gone as planned, but the reason of that was, he just hasn't developed those traits that Kyle wants. No block, no rock, right? He's not a dog in the pass blocking game and in the run blocking game, and he's not a dog in terms of just the small things that Kyle wants. And those are the things that Kyle looks. And is Xavier Worthy going to be able to do those things? I don't know. I couldn't tell you, but hey, definitely would be fun to see a guy with 4.21 speed on this offense with Brock and that play action game with CMC. So anything's possible. S. Flood says, I think the Niners go heavy defensively in the draft and sign some veterans on offense. We'll see. It's definitely going to be interesting next week. I think they might try to make a move for a tight end. That's another position that we haven't talked about. But they drafted 2 tight ends last year. Didn't really move the needle. I know it's early. Ross Dwelly, I don't know if he comes back. He's definitely a guy that I'm sure they're going to consider to bring back. Charlie Warner, they love his his blocking, but they just need another tight end that can go out there and put some damn stats together and really help Kittle out and take some pressure off. We've been saying that for so many years. They've tried many times to go after a tight end, right? Zach Ertz was a guy they looked into. Several other players over the last couple of years, they've been looking at other big free agent tight ends. A couple of years ago, they had Jordan Reed, but he got hurt. They tried that big 2 tight end set. Kyle's been trying. He's been trying to get that big tight end. Jalen Hurd failed. They wanted him as that bruising receiver / tight end type hybrid guy. And they just haven't been able to get it. They did draft 2 tight ends, so I'm sure they're going to get an opportunity to come in and play. But I don't know. I think the 49ers might make a move for a tight end next week. That's something else I've been thinking of. I'm like, maybe. We'll see what happens. So. Greedy says, would a tight end converting to a tackle be ideal for Kyle's offense? In his mind, probably. He loves. I mean, if George Kittle could ever play tackle, if Kyle came up to George Kittle, say, hey, can you just be our tackle? Can you just be? I bet he would love it. But I don't want a tight end to convert to. I just want a pure premium elite tackle. No games, no gimmicks, none of that stuff. I don't want a tackle converting to tight end. Or a tight end converting to tackle. So, but I guarantee you, if Kyle ever went to Brock or George Kittle and says, look, man, I just need you to play tackle, please. I'm guarantee you he would love it. Yeah, George Kittle put on 50 pounds to be the tackle. Can you imagine? It'd be crazy. But, again, free agency coming up next week. I'm hyped up. You guys are excited. I can't wait. I just hope it's not one of those free agencies where we're come on, do something. That meme's going to be used all week. Do something, John, where the guy's poking in the air. There's nothing there. I'm sure that meme's going to get used. I do feel like the 49ers are going to make some moves, but we got to be a little patient. We can't just refresh the page, although we're going to be sitting there. I'm going to be refreshing all day. When are they making a move? Where are they making a move? Where are they making a move? Oh, my God, they made a move. That's how it always happens. When you don't expect it, midnight, 1 a.m., Trent Williams, remember that? They're going to do it when we don't expect it. So I'm not even going to sit there and waste my time worrying too much. I'm just going to wait. I know it's going to happen. I know they're going to make some moves, and it's going to be a fun, fantastic free agency week. And we'll be talking about it next week about all the moves that they made, all the moves they didn't make. We'll see. We shall see. People are going to be mad, though. Either way, no matter what, people are going to be mad. You're going to be happy. You're going to be mad. You're never going to sign all the people we want. So we'll see. Is there anybody that you guys want? Or is there anybody that you guys have in mind? Who do you guys want to see the 49ers sign? Who do you guys want the 49ers? If you could, I posted today on my Instagram, what is your bold prediction? Who is your bold prediction for the 49ers to sign next week? Free agency is around the corner. Monday is the legal tampering period. They could tamper legally on Monday. Who the heck do you want the 49ers to go? Is there a big name that we're missing out on? Who are we not thinking about? Who are the 49ers signing? Who are we going to get? Daniel Hunter? I like that one, Julius. I like that one. What about Chris Jones? Can the 49ers get Chris Jones? Can they pry him out of the Chiefs' dirty hands? I doubt it. Daniel Hunter would be nice. That'd be phenomenal. Be a good move. I like Joey Bosa. I would love to see the 49ers bring the Bosa brothers together. You know, a little cheap family reunion deal. Maybe Joey takes a cut. Maybe he takes a little less money to come play with his bro on the Bay. I don't know. That would be fun. Mekhi Becton. Okay, I like that move. I like that. Now we're talking Christian Wilkins. Okay, I'd be happy. Let's see. We should sign Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, I don't know if that's possible, but yeah, 49ers have Patrick Mahomes. That'd be fantastic. Let's see. Tyron Smith, the top tackle available. Trent Brown also. Yeah. Red Eye says should never have taken Hargrave. Overrated. You know, I think someone on ESPN last week was talking about how he did not like the Hargrave signing. I think or was it PFF? Someone rated it as like the worst free agent signing last year or one of the worst. I don't know. I thought Hargrave started out good. He definitely kind of sputtered towards the end of the season. The hamstring injuries caught up with him. They paid him a lot of money. So I think for the money that the 49ers paid Hargrave, he didn't really live up to his status. The whole problem was there was a stat. I think Eric Branch tweeted this. Let me see. This was an issue to me, and I said this all year. The 49ers, let me see. This right here this is a stat that you're going to be like, oh, wow, I can't believe that. Let me pull this one up. I'm pretty sure Eric Branch pulled this one out the other day. Right here. Perfect. Nick Bosa, Javon Hargrave, and Arik Armstead. Those three linemen, three guys, Bosa, Hargrave, Armstead, they're scheduled to count for $58 million against the salary cap next season, which is more than any other team currently has on the books for their entire defensive line. Three guys, Bosa, Hargrave, Armstead, are scheduled to count for $58 million against the salary cap next season. Three guys count for more money than any team has on the books on their entire D-line. Now, I know Bosa got paid a lot of money, highest paid defensive player. I think he justified it. You know, slow start to the season, but he came on really good. He played like Nick Bosa. Armstead getting paid a lot of money. He missed a lot of time with the injuries, plantar fasciitis, the meniscus injury, and then Hargrave. He started out good, but towards the end, missed some time with the hamstring. Got paid a lot of money. Three guys getting $58 million against salary cap. So, yeah, I can see why people are mad about the Hargrave signing. You know, he played good, but for the amount of money, man, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. So. Am I mad at you for spamming? I'm not mad at you. It's just a little. It's hard to read all the other people's comments, but it is what it is. 30, developing hunchback already. Oh, Red Eye slamming, man. Don't invite Red Eye and Javon Hargrave in the same room. This is not going to be a good ending. But oh man, Bryce Huff says Brandis. Ooh, I like Bryce Huff. Ian Sharp says Hargrave is overpaid. Flood, this is a good one. Think the Niners should go and get DJ Jones back? I would love to see DJ Jones running back with the Niners. This is a guy I think that is honestly, I would have loved for them to keep DJ Jones. I think this is a reason why they went and got Hargrave. You lost DJ Jones the year prior, and you needed that big time guy in the middle because you were lacking what DJ Jones was bringing. His run defense was fantastic. One of the best defensive linemen in the interior. Him and Armstead were cooking a couple years ago in the playoffs. I remember that Dallas game. DJ Jones was the reason, other than Debo Samuel, they win that playoff game. So yeah, I would love to see a DJ Jones reunion. I wish they never would have got rid of him in the first place. Honestly, that's the guy I want the 49ers to go and get if they can. Broncos are having a fire sale out there. They're rearranging things. Maybe the 49ers should bring him back for the cheap. So definitely would love to see DJ Jones. I know somebody said Al-Shaair, if the price is right, go run him back too. You're going to need linebacker depth because, Greenlaw's coming off a massive injury. We'll see how much, he's going to be able to do at the beginning of the season. But the problem with Azeez, he's going to be expensive. He had a career season, and, he should get paid a lot of money. So I don't know how realistic that is. And plus, the 49ers did draft two really young, talented linebackers last year. Niners are great at developing linebackers. So at the end of the day, I don't think a need for linebackers as big as defensive linemen. But yeah, absolutely would love to see Azeez back in the red and gold. But I would love DJ Jones back for the 49ers. Are you kidding me? That guy was fantastic. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. In any case, I just want to hop on here Friday and recap something. I know I haven't been as active on the lives here. It's been busy working, so I can't always go live during the day. Work. So, that's how the life is on the off season. Just working, making that money, paying my bills, all that good stuff. You guys definitely have a good rest of your night. And let me see. Do I have a couple? There's a couple of questions there. Jimmy, I'll take this one before I head out. It says, did you see Armstead's IG story shot at the teammates? I don't think it was a shot at anybody. I think they were just all having fun. Everybody was posting their training camp highlights, and Armstead's like, oh, it's training camp highlights, it's practice, whatever. But you guys gassing up practice highlights. I think that's the way I took it up. He's just like laughing. Everybody's posting their training camp highlights. I don't know if you guys saw that. Like everybody on their Instagram stories, Dion Lenore, a couple other players are like posting their big highlights in training camp. And I think Armstead was just like, all right, guys, this training camp highlights, something like that. That's the gist of it. But I don't think he was taking shots at anybody. I think they were just all having fun on their Instagram story. It's the off season. These guys probably got nothing better to do so they can spend their money. But we'll see. Julius, last question. He says, off topic, but do you have any advice for an aspiring physical therapist? My man, shout out. Yeah, it's a hell of a career. Make sure you get a lot of volunteer hours. Make sure you go into every setting, outpatient, inpatient, go to hospital, see if you can do some volunteer work, go shadow a therapist, get as many, references as you can. I don't know how far along you are, but all those references will pay off, and all those hours will help you gain some good, shadowing experience. They always look for that kind of stuff. Obviously, you got to do good in school and all those things, do your prereqs. But yeah, get as much experience as you can before. If you're ever like working in a rehab facility, you can be a rehab tech. Those are good positions to learn and get some experience, in the rehab world. But yeah, just do a lot of volunteer work before you go into PT school, because you also got to know if you really want to be a PT. It's a grind. It's a tough job. Sometimes it's a thankless job. You do a lot of work for people. You help out a lot of people, but sometimes it's more stressful than anything. But so that way you you really want to do it. It's a great career, but make sure you really want to do it, because it's a tough one. You're basically a caregiver for tons of patients every day. So yeah, drop my name as a reference. I'll give you a good reference. Yeah, good to chop it up with the faithful. It's always good. Love you guys. Have a good rest of your night. Go Niners. And I didn't realize that free agencies just so around the corner. I love it. I can't wait for free agencies. You guys have a good one. And next week, stay tuned. We'll be hopefully getting some good news next week. Anyways, y'all have a good one. Bang, bang. Nana gang.